No cussing.
No cussing, Carrie.
Okay.
Let me make sure we got us in there good. There we go. Sweet. If you're out there, we got about 8 minutes before we go live. If you've got some friends and family in the Jasper area, you want to copy our link and get that out there, put it out there on Facebook for us. If you haven't been over to our YouTube channel, hey, take a minute to go over there and I guess it's, what is it called? Follow, or whatever the case is. Follow, share, like, love, all that stuff.
I'll be about.
Yeah, we're going to be talking about some pretty cool things tonight. We'll be recapping the last week and a half. We was on religion last week, and we was in the news this week. So there's that. So having said that, it's going to be live and fiery, and we got plenty to say.
No.
So having said that, we got about 7 minutes, 7.5 minutes. Tell your friends, tell your neighbors. Facebook has got the link. You can go check it out. You can go check us out over on Facebook, get that link, and you can forward that link over to your people. Would like to hear from Jasper people tonight, surrounding areas as well. Yeah, so it's going to be, got quite a few things we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about the city council meeting. We're going to talk about the recall. We're going to talk about the postponed contract. We've got a lot of things we're going to talk about. We've also got a special announcement for Newton. So if you know people over in Newton, you need to check with them as well and pass the word around. We've got some interesting stuff from that we're doing over in Newton. Let's see what else we got. We've got some major concerns about what the city council has been doing.
Or not doing.
Or not doing, or whatever the case is.
Yeah, both.
So, nonetheless, we appreciate you guys for tuning in. Please like and share so we can try to get the word is subscribe.
Yes.
Subscribe.
Make sure you
If
subscribe.
our subscribers go up, then that puts us in a position where we can, it puts us in a position where we can do some pretty cool things beyond just
Streaming.
Beyond just streaming. Yeah, we can actually, we'd be able to do some things like streaming from our phones and stuff like that and go straight out live, because that's actually restricted if you have less than 1,000 subs. And so right now, I think where are we at on subs? Do you know?
I haven't looked.
All right, I'm gonna pull this up right fast.
Me too, but I haven't.
Let's see, 129 subs. What's up? Did Mike just walk in? God, thought I was hearing him in stereo. So beyond that, we've got 129 subs. If you could get us up to 1,000 subs, that'd be great. This is Michael out, in case you don't know.
Don't know who he is.
Yeah, hovering around.
Everything okay?
So far.
Everything good.
Everything working?
So far.
I think so. He's got us in there. We got it here.
Okay,
We're
good.
good.
We're good.
to go. Let's see here. What song we get? Okay. So, having said that, we got 129. Help us get to 1,000, man. Y'all did great there. You did great, man. yeah, every
I
time.
hustled one weekend, man.
Yeah,
Might be time for me to hustle another weekend.
I'll tell you. No, you did good. How'd you get so much response? Just put it out there. Black man.
You know. Just ask, man. Just ask.
Sound like you might be rough for off.
Yeah.
No.
No, man. Don't want to go to hell when I die.
That's exactly right. No, the good part is we are just a few minutes away. We're about 3 minutes away.
3 minutes, man.
We're ready to rock and roll this, dude. We actually wanted to start out with a particular song, but wasn't able to work out the details. We're gonna get this figured out at some point.
At some point.
Well, we do have a pretty good intro coming in with the white stripes. So, but beyond that, like, share, and subscribe. Help us. We're here with you every Thursday night, 7 o'clock. Yes, every Thursday night, 7 o'clock.
Oh, well, I'm the handsome one.
Handsome.
You bet.
Wearing green.
We're in green, man. St. Patty's.
Rocking green. It's my favorite day of the year, actually.
St. Patty's, man.
Yeah. Outside of my birthday, it's my favorite day of the year.
That's right. You are a Christmas man, are you? Not really.
Christmas?
Yeah.
Not really. I'm not into materialism stuff.
You have to eat all this stuff, man.
Yeah, that's the reason I like Thanksgiving.
Yeah, you get to eat both days, man. You get to eat all this stuff that you don't see any other time of the year.
Yeah. That is true. That's a good point.
That's what makes it so good. But the other stuff, man,
we get to celebrate.
I'm to the point now. If I want something, I go get it. You know.
Yeah, I've made a commitment that I buy myself one watch per year.
Oh, really? Really?
Yeah. And I buy the same brand, same thing.
Same thing. You're not a Rolex man or an Omega man or anything like that.
That's all too rich for me. Most expensive watch I'll have is probably going to be
a Rolex
Casio G-Shock.
Those are pretty good watches, actually.
Yeah,
those are pretty good watches. You know, I'm fancy and wear a Citizen. You know, so. The wife bought it for me a number of years ago, and I've been wearing it ever since. So I'm still not caught up on the time change. I'm still behind about 3 minutes.
Yeah, look at my time change. Yeah, I got to go back online and figure out how to change up my. I got to change.
Well, I had to do that on my car. I had to go and figure out how we're going to do it.
Really? Yeah, I think it'll be interesting. Yeah,
one of those watches you got to have an electrical engineer to figure out how to change it? Computer scientist?
Yeah, for the most part. I had to look it up on Facebook to figure out how to make the times work and all this stuff. And then
is that the one that tells what time it is in London and Tokyo and Hong Kong?
No, I try to stay away from all that. I don't care. I just need to know the one that says it in Texas.
Good luck there. Good luck there.
What do you think about this daylight savings time?
Hey, the U.S. Senate is supposed to be changing. The U.S. Senate voted this week to have to put it one way or the other and leave it.
Pretty awesome.
This is faithful programming, which may not
Here we go.
represent the views and beliefs of this station, its management, and staff. Listen at your own risk.
You are listening to Not on the Payroll right here at KJAS 107.3 FM. Man, it has been a heck of a week.
Yes, it has.
It's been a heck of a week, ladies and gentlemen. I am your host, Jay Sharp, and I'm sitting here with my co-host, Carrie Thomas. If you've got something that you want to chat about, there's a lot to chat about. We've got plenty to chat about as well.
Yes, sir.
If you want to tune in to what we are doing live, we are on YouTube. Go over to Not on the Payroll on YouTube. If you can't find that, you can go to Not on the Payroll on Facebook. We've got the link available to go live with us right now. Man, Carrie Thomas,
Yes,
my
sir.
co-host.
Yes, sir.
You were in green, sir.
Yes, sir. Happy St. Patrick's Day.
Yes.
I was told not to say death to the bleeding English and not to sing any 1919 revolutionary songs. So
yeah, I'm sure.
I'm behaving myself today.
I'm sure.
Somebody named Carrie, you know, you do stuff like that.
I'm sure you will offend plenty in the community if you start. They wouldn't even know what you were singing. They would have no clue.
I know it.
Okay, is anybody? Somebody
What's
needs
this nut?
psychological evaluation here.
What's this nut doing?
Man, how has your week been?
It's been interesting. Monday was really interesting. You know, nobody got arrested. Nobody went to jail. Nobody died. Nobody was shot. Nobody had a stroke.
No.
But I'll tell you what, it's better than the last 15 movies I've seen at the movie house.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you're out there, please like, share, and subscribe. We are in the ongoing pursuit to get to 1,000 subscribers here in the local region. And hey, man, we love you. If you're out there and you're listening right now and you don't love us, well, that's on you, man. Grab a cigar and some whiskey and chill out. You know what I mean?
Irish whiskey. It is St. Patrick's Day.
That's exactly right.
Some Jameson or some Bushmills or
you know what? You know the story that flies in the face. This is totally off subject, but in pursuit of celebrating St. Patty's Day, an interesting story about Guinness. So the nation was being riddled with Irish whiskey.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
If you go and talk to the monks at the Guinness factory, or the guys who were running it, that formula came as a result of prayer by monks because they needed something else to drink that was not Irish whiskey.
It's not Irish whiskey.
Yeah. So here's what I'll say to that. At the end of the day, you might, we might all need to be teetotalers over here in America, but over there in
they've had a tip or two.
In Ireland, those boys got Guinness as a result of prayer.
Those boys have had
good things come from prayers. What I'm saying, people, ladies and gentlemen, if you're just tuning in, you're listening to Not on the Payroll. You can check us out every Thursday night at 7 o'clock.
We may have come up with a sermon there for Sunday at the First Baptist churches.
A lot of things, a lot of good things come from prayer. We want to thank our angels out here supporting us. We want to thank our supporters right now. If you're a business out there and you're interested in supporting the First Amendment and the Second Amendment, and you like our platform here, you can touch base with us, and we'll definitely talk to you about how to sponsor the show. But our sponsors right now, Stuart Glass and Lake Area Pond. If you haven't been over to either one of those places, God knows you need to get over there. Because here's the deal. You don't have to pray about getting your glass fixed. I have yet to see a preacher who can put his finger on a broken glass and it comes
and heal it.
And it heals.
And heal it, yeah.
But here's the deal. Stuart Glass has got the hands to handle that situation all the way around the horn and get you taken care of. Get you back on the street without busted up glass. Get your windows at your home fixed without busted up glass. If you got mad at the dog or whatever, threw the dog through the window, they can replace that window. So hopefully the dog's okay. But nonetheless, Stuart Glass, we appreciate those guys. They've always been supporters of ours. They are big on First Amendment for sure. Also, Lake Area Pond, they kind of step into our First Amendment and Second Amendment support because they are providing you with some of the nicest weaponry available here in the community.
I'm sure, and if they don't have it, they can get it.
If you want a bow, if you want a crossbow, if you want a pistol, if you want an AR-15, if you want a home protection device, is what I'd like to call it. Yeah, home protection.
Call it a shotgun in my
house.
Call it shotgun in my house.
You know, I mean, a pistol grip pump is always nice to have. Yeah. They can hook you up at Lake Area Pond. If you want some movies for your kids, they've got movies there. Now, why? I don't know, but they have movies.
It's a pawn shop. I'm not shocked. Yeah.
I saw a saddle in there last time. I've never wanted a saddle, but I thought it might be fun.
You never know. You might get a riding mule someday.
Here's the deal. I've been watching a lot of Yellowstone, and for some reason, I just want to sit on a saddle. I mean, it may be in my lazy boy, but it's at least I'm sitting on a saddle watching Yellowstone. So there's that. But here's the thing, man. Lakes Area Pond, those guys, we appreciate Stuart Glass and Lake Area Pond for sponsoring our show. Sometimes it gets a little edgy, but hey, here's the deal. You know, if you don't like the edge, then back away and, like we always say, grab a cigar and some whiskey and chill out.
So, it is St. Patrick's Day.
It is St. Patrick's Day, and thank God for St. Patrick. That's what I'll say about that. Ladies and gentlemen, people of the court, you're listening to Not on the Payroll. We appreciate you for listening and tuning in. Go like and subscribe. Check us out on YouTube and Facebook and all that stuff. Let's dig in. Let's go ahead and take the swan dive off into this week's events. Some of you, if you have been over to KJAS, you have noticed that there are a couple of stories, some video up of the city council meeting that happened on Monday. If you have been under a rock, that's okay. we've got you covered. A lot of things going on with city council. It appears at this point, and matter of fact, let's preface everything I'm about to say by saying this. The thoughts and opinions on this show are strictly ours.
Yes.
They're our opinion. Okay.
Yes.
A lot of times you don't have to take people to court legally. You can just take them to court in the court of public opinion. And here we are. So we are providing our opinion, and sometimes we hit the nail on the head, and sometimes we get hit on the head. So there's that.
More ways than one there.
Exactly. So we want to thank everybody who attended the meeting on Monday night.
It's a packed house.
What was your take?
It was, for lack of a better term, like I said, it was more interesting than the last 15 movies I have seen.
Really?
It was literally, well, if you really want to get down to it, it was the citizenry of the town coming together, practicing American citizenship, if you really want to get down to it. They sat there, told the council how they felt. Now, the council was not happy to hear how they felt,
Sure.
but they told the council exactly how they felt.
Right.
And I'll be honest with you, I think it changed at least one mind.
Well, that's
that.
That's an obvious thing that came out of it, because here was the deal.
And that's all they had to do was change one mind.
One.
Yeah, that's it.
And there were people in this town willing to put money that the contract was going to be signed off on. Now, here's the thing.
Yeah, I heard somebody was willing to bet $5,000.
Well, you know.
Yeah.
So here's the deal. There's a lot to be said for what's going on here in the community. To do a brief synopsis of what's happening, SRMPA money that is specifically a result of the electric bills in this community. They provide a refund back or a dividend back to the participating cities, Jasper being one of those. There's currently $36 million currently in Jasper's.
That's in Jasper alone?
That's just Jasper.
Okay.
And the city council was about to make the decision to move forward with going into the broadband business. Now,
Right.
As of Monday night, it was voted, I think Anderson Land, he put it out there that he wanted it postponed.
An indefinite postponement.
Indefinitely.
And according to Robert's rules, that is the correct terminology that you use. You do not table something. And I literally almost had a heart attack when they said table, because you don't really table anything.
Around here,
A table means you can bring it up 2 seconds later.
Sure.
An indefinite postponement means, we're going to look at it down the road.
Sure.
Now, down the road, maybe next council meeting, but we're going to look at it down the road.
Right.
Also, when you table, I don't know if they know this or not, there is no discussion. An indefinite postponement, there can be discussion.
Okay.
And I would just,
Interesting.
there's only, apparently there is only one person who on the council who has read Robert's rules. And
you would almost think they would put that out.
Yeah.
They would give that to them when they get elected or appointed.
You would think so.
Yeah. Well, and here's the thing, I'll be honest.
I almost went to Amazon and bought one and sent it to the council. I'm serious. Overnight it, sent it to the council, say, hey, for the next meeting, read this.
Take a perusing of this, yeah.
Jay, when I was in college 150 years ago, shortly after the earth was cool, I think Lincoln was still president. I was in a government class. We had to study Robert's rules
Sure.
if we were going to be a high school government teacher.
Right.
Because we might be in charge of student council, student government, and what are the rules run by every government agency, city council, student council, Robert's rules.
Sure. Well, the interesting part is it may just be because it's East Texas. I'm not really sure. But the term tabling something seems more, it seems like that's used way more.
Every Baptist church
we're going to table
at the
this
business meeting will say, we'll table this
for later.
For later. Yeah. And that's the incorrect term.
I think that's mainly because we have this affection toward food and tabling
Especially in the
something.
Baptist church.
Well,
You know.
in a lot of churches,
Yeah, well,
yeah,
that's
we
true.
weren't Baptist, but
That's true.
we love a
You loved
dinner.
a good casserole.
I like a good dinner on the ground.
Yeah, who
You know,
doesn't?
as long as Miss Mary doesn't show up with that squashed food, some kind of casserole. But anyway, neither here nor there. Yeah, it's very interesting to me that it seemed like it was easy to get things discombobulated, especially after especially after the public comment section of the meeting.
Right.
Um, what was your take on the comments? I mean, because I'll be honest, you said it right. I was proud of everyone who was at the meeting. There was only a couple of people that I really had issue with what all went down. I was proud to see, even though there was some confusion, Councilman Golden, she kind of came with a voice of reason almost,
Right.
specifically about listening. We need more questions answered.
Well, and she herself says, I have questions. I
Yeah.
don't, I need answers.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there going, and we're fixing to sign the contract tonight.
I almost, honest to God,
That kind of shocked me.
honest to God, I was sitting there thinking to myself, okay, is she heading the Nancy Pelosi route where we need to pass this so we can read what's in it? You remember
Yeah.
Pelosi
yeah,
saying
yeah,
that?
yeah.
So
I remember.
when she started saying that, I was going, please,
Yeah.
please don't go this route. You know, we
And
need to
you'll
go
be
ahead and
surprised how
pass
often
it.
Congress does that.
Yeah, we need to go ahead and pass it so we can find out what's in the 20,000 page memo.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Document. So out of Monday night, Reverend Norsworthy has pushed forward, from what I'm understanding, to recall the mayor.
Okay.
It's very, very interesting. That turn of event, it doesn't shock me because there were a lot of
You
calls.
knew it was coming. You knew
Yeah.
it was coming.
There were a lot of calls for resigning. That was also that was one of Debbie Foster's statements at the end,
Right.
was to step down, and then there was a resounding chorus of people behind in the peanut gallery, if you will.
Like I said, it was a packed house.
It was a packed
Standing
house.
room only.
Absolutely. And so man, there was just a lot of things that went down. So they're moving forward with the recall. So if you believe that Randy Sayers, if you believe his actions are due to be recalled, and he's due to be recalled from this mayoral position because of his actions, I would say you could probably touch base with Reverend Norsworthy and find out how to sign off, because I think they have to
There's
come up
going
with
to
a
be a
number of
certain
signatures.
percentage,
Mhm.
and I don't know what the percentage is for
Sure.
the city of Jasper,
Sure.
but there has to be a certain percentage signed by a certain amount of time,
Right.
which generally works, and then there will be an election
Yeah.
to see if they need to recall the mayor or not.
Yeah. So here's just basically a few notes. I was trying to take some notes today because there's just a lot of information, a lot of things about all this stuff. Specific to the recall. Number one, the thing that has really kind of pushed this out there is this conversation, or this cursing out that Randy Sayers did to Debbie Foster when she just actually happened upon a backdoor meeting, or a meeting that was being held in a location that was not City Hall, by the mayor and by the two councilmen who have
Can
been.
we say where it was?
I can't remember.
It was at the Chamber of Commerce.
Okay.
It's
So
my understanding it was at the Chamber of Commerce.
Chamber of Commerce. Okay.
Yes,
Okay. So at the Welcome Center or something like that.
I think so. I'm
okay.
not for sure.
So
I
having said
missed
that,
that part.
she ends up going in. You can read the story on KJS, but basically, Randy Sayers allegedly ran up to her and began to curse her out. And then everything's kind of already documented in the
Right.
story.
Right.
What's interesting to me is this, and I kind of took this away and I've stepped back and I haven't even said this yet. But to me, this kind of this has a potential of changing a little bit of the narrative. Excuse me, changing a little bit of the narrative about how the situation with Lout and Sayers happened years ago. Because
Wasn't there a situation very similar to this years ago between the former mayor and the present mayor?
that's exactly what I'm
Okay,
referring to.
okay.
And so, but it makes me wonder because it's almost like there's a situation here where now we're seeing, and from what I understand, this is not the first, this is not the second time, this is not the third time that Sayers has went off the handle.
Right.
Okay, so I'm not sure exactly what's going on with him.
Right.
But here's the thing.
Can I add something here?
Sure.
I got to watching him, and I could not help but watch him. He was, when people were speaking, he was rocking back and forth between his chair.
Sure.
I mean, hard,
Sure.
and was turning different colors. I'm not
Yeah.
going to lie to you. I was concerned about the man.
Yeah.
I thought that he was going to have a heart attack or a stroke. That's how upset he had gotten.
Sure.
And I literally ran through my head, am I going to have to do CPR because I'm not that far away from him?
Right.
And
I think
I'm concerned about you,
you
man.
know. I think
I'm
this.
not kidding. You need to watch your anger.
I think there
That's
was.
what it is.
I think there was a lot. Thank you. I think there was a lot. I think there was a lot of pressure.
I'm
think
sure
there was
there
a lot
is.
of pressure.
I'm sure there is.
As a result of the comment section, because I'll be honest with you. You know, my portion, and you could go check this out. But I mean, my portion of the comment section specific to Sayers. You know, to be honest with you, as an elected official, you are. I don't care if you are part of a local board over the Little League or the Little Dribblers.
Right.
It is part of honor and respect and dignity to hold yourself accountable and hold yourself in a position where you are not being incensed and enraged to go after people. Okay.
Especially when they have completed speaking.
Exactly.
And you saw it coming. You
Yeah.
knew it was coming from the body language
Sure.
that was being.
He was very
Same,
aggressive,
yeah.
very aggressive. You know, and here's the thing. I just want to put this out here. That some people believe they carry around this idea in their head that people are afraid of them.
Right.
I want to make it abundantly clear I'm not afraid of no one. I mean, I go 275 on a light day. Okay.
Yeah.
And so, you know, physical confrontation is not a problem for me. And I wasn't looking to get into physical confrontation the
Right.
other night.
Right.
What I was wanting to do is try to articulate where I was coming from, how I felt, right to the men's face.
Right.
And here's the thing. I said what I said specific to David Schultz, and we'll get into that here in just a second because I want to clarify a few things. But the fact of the matter is, Randy Sayers needs to step down. And if you don't think he needs to step down off of just cursing out Ms. Foster, you need to go watch and check around online because as Ms. Foster is walking away from the podium, he is photoed and videoed laughing. Okay. So he's kind of got this scoffing thing that he does. I'm telling you, if you ask any counselor, if you go out there right now and you find a counselor that's worth their salt, they're going to tell you if a man is sarcastic and if a man scoffs and laughs during these types of moments, those are signs that he has an anger issue. It's
Right.
a deflection technique.
Right.
It's a way of shrouding what's actually going on inside of the person. Okay.
Right.
And I would say this. I've been in counseling since 2017. It's done me wonders. Okay. I would encourage everyone, including the mayor, to go find help. Get some help, counsel, whatever the case is. Find a good counselor and go. Because
Can I ask, are you seeing a psychiatrist, psychologist, just a regular licensed counselor, or is it none of my damn business?
no, the I am seeing a psychologist,
Okay.
and I'm not looking for prescription drugs. Normally, that's the difference between the two.
Definitely.
One can write
in
a
this
script.
state, in this state, yes,
One,
yes.
one can write a script, the other one can't.
Cannot, yeah. In this
I'm not
state,
looking
no.
for that.
Yeah.
What I'm trying to do is trying to walk through in my mind how to get from point A to point B.
Right.
And sometimes you've got to get over some things in your life, and you've got to be able to talk some things out. And counseling has been one of the greatest things for me.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And so I would just encourage, if you have an anger issue out there, find a counselor, man. Because here's the thing, you know, it does wonders to be able to dust the rug, if you will. So having said that, you know, Politics 101 will tell you this. Okay. First of all, don't cuss out your constituents. Number one. That's Politics 101. If you're running out there, I want you to take notes. Daddy's fixing to teach you. Okay. Number one, do not cuss out your constituents. Number two, if you're going to cuss out your constituents, don't do it in the presence of witnesses.
Of other people, yeah.
That's two. So
Yeah.
keep up. That's number one is don't cuss out your constituents. Number two, if you're going to, don't do it around witnesses. Number three, do not cuss out constituents when you've been caught in the middle of what you're being accused of.
Of doing something wrong. Yeah.
I mean, really, here's the thing. If there's nothing underhanded or sideways going on, why isn't it being done in the light? Scripture talks a lot about doing things
Doing
in the
something in
light
the light. Yeah, exactly.
versus doing things under the cloak of darkness.
Exactly.
You know? So, I mean, you know, you've got to take this in consideration. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're running for anything, those are 3 rules. Those are it's just one-on-one.
Just common sense.
Hey, you stick around
Just
long enough,
common sense, yeah.
we'll teach you something.
Yeah.
If you're out there and you're just tuning in, you're listening to Not on the Payroll, give us a call, 384-2626. You can chime in on what's going on. I do want to make some clarifications here. Clarifications specific to what I had to say to Mr. David Schultz. So first of all, one of the things that I understand is this. Some people have bad days. I've had bad days.
I've had bad days.
Everybody's got them.
Sure.
Okay? Everybody's got bad days. And that doesn't remove the fact that because I have a bad day that I'm not out here trying to support my family by whatever vocation that I'm involved in.
Sure.
My objective was not to try to run somebody out of town on a rail. That's not the point.
Perhaps you need to give us a little background on what you're talking about
Okay.
here. I'm sure there's some people that haven't got a clue what you're talking about.
Okay.
You know, new listeners, things such
Sure.
as that.
Sure. And we talked about religion last
Yeah.
week, so we didn't dig
Yeah,
into
we
this
really
too
didn't
much.
talk about this last week.
So I had a situation here on March 4th. Okay. My son comes home seemingly rattled. And you know when your kid is rattled.
Sure.
Okay.
Sure.
He sat down with me out on the porch and began to talk. Okay, so let me rephrase that. He was what we would call pissed off.
Okay.
All right. And I knew he was torched.
Unhappy.
Okay. He was
Unhappy.
unhappy. And you don't like to see your kids in that situation. And so we began to talk. Come to find out, a little situation went down. You can go and read the story on KJS. It breaks it all down there for you. Okay. But basically what happened was there was communication. Mr. Schultz went to my son and, obviously from what Mr. Schultz says, he didn't know who I was, although he had plenty to say about some of our shows and stuff like that. He didn't realize that I was his dad. Okay. And began to kind of, chat about the fact that, he couldn't believe it. All right. Well, here's the deal. I don't know what all was said. I know it upset my son. And so I decided, okay, well, him being a council member, this kind of muddies up things because number one, as a man and a father, if a grown man comes out here on the street, just up off the street and decides to grab my son up or tune him up or whatever the case is, and that's not what David Schultz did. Okay. But if my son walked away and felt like it was a certain level of conflict in the air,
Right.
then that alarms me. So if my son is at my house and he's on my property and he is confronted by a person verbally and through debate or whatever the case is, and I feel like it's out of sorts and it's about something that I've said, I'm going to go straight to the man.
Right.
Okay.
Exactly.
Because Mr. Schultz is a council member, I felt like not only is it right for me to go look the man in the eye and tell him what I have to say, and then move on from there. That way we're all clear. Because to be honest with you, where I'm coming from is dealing with this situation as a father. Now, was he assaulted, anything like that? No. That was not the case. Right. Okay. At the same time, that's par for this course. When you're out here and you're speaking your mind, you're standing up and you have differing opinions than other people. People are going to have differing opinions than you. I get that. But going to a son is not the proper way to handle that situation. He should have came to me.
Shouldn't. You have to be careful anyway in a small town because you don't know who family is or anything. And
and here's the deal.
Let's pretend that he does know.
Okay.
Let's pretend that he did know who he was. Well, you do not bring the son in for something the father did.
That's correct. That's correct.
You just don't bring family in.
And I think everybody
leave the family out. The family had nothing to do with it.
I think everybody understands that. And here's the deal. Like I say, I said what I said to him in the meeting. My objective is not to run anybody out of town. Mr. Schultz has been here and has a business here, and he's trying to provide for his family. I give him that latitude. Okay. And the truth of the matter is he's been here he's been actively involved in the community on some level. Okay. We don't know each other at all. Okay.
Right.
My objective was to expose, first of all, it was twofold, was to expose passive aggressive behavior that's going on with the city council. Okay. Because nobody's answering questions.
Correct.
Everything is vague.
Correct.
Everybody's kind of seizing up. Okay. So I believe this was a passive aggressive attempt. And so I dealt with that. Specific to my other objective was to stand there because I brought my whole family down there.
Right.
Okay.
Good looking family, by the way.
Thank you, sir. That's what happens when you marry a beautiful female. They normally come out pretty good. At the same time,
thank goodness.
At the same time, I show up with my whole family, and my objective was this. You see, I grew up around a number of men in the church.
Okay.
A lot of them had no problem talking.
Right.
But when it came down to the grit, some of them would not show
do
up.
Anything. Yeah.
So my objective was I took my sons there, and my daughters were there, and my wife was there. My objective was to show them that this is who their daddy is.
Right.
This is who their husband is. That we don't play this game.
Right.
And hopefully my kids walked away from that situation saying, this is how I'm going to handle my family.
Better appreciation.
That's exactly right. This is how I want to take care of my family.
Right.
And I would assume if the roles were reversed between me and Mr. Schultz, if I had gone down to him, his son, and he was, and I was a city council guy, I would hope he's man enough to come down to the city council meeting and make his point clear. Because I think this, if nothing else, I was very clear about where I'm at on this deal. Now, I don't want to belabor this point. I don't want to talk about it no more.
Can I add something here?
Yeah.
The deal is, and this is, if we knew, we wouldn't bring the man's family involved.
Sure.
Period.
Sure. Yeah, because that's man code.
You
That is a man code. Yeah.
Leave families alone.
Yeah. If you got an issue with me, just come to me, man.
Yeah.
And here's the thing: I've made access to me abundantly available. If you want to come down here and talk to me, or if you want to get me on the phone at any point, I'm game.
You've asked to interview these people numerous times.
Well, and here's the other thing: there is this understanding, or there's this thought process out here that I am still some sort of wing of KJAS. We pay for this show. Our sponsors help pay for this show. And to be honest with you, I'm not as aggressive as maybe I come off on this radio show.
And to be honest, seriously, some night we may have to go after Mike.
That's
And
exactly-
Mike will probably just will man up and take it. Now
that's
he's
true.
liable to come in here and
Well, yeah.
yell at us afterwards.
Well,
but-
not true. Not true.
Not
Because
true.
the thing is
I'm
this:
saying that.
anything that we've ever said, anything that we've ever confronted with Mike Lout on this radio program, it's been a moot point after the
Pretty
fact.
much, yeah.
You know, because I mean, it's even like when he was running against the pilot gentleman.
Right.
Um,
Work for American
back
Airlines.
back in the day.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, we had a number of questions for him. We never heard about it after that because
Yeah.
I mean, here's the deal: this is our show.
Yeah.
So
And Mike believes strongly in the First Amendment.
in the First Amendment,
Yeah.
that's how we got
Because he
over
knows.
here because
Yeah.
we were on the
Yeah.
Christian station over
And
here.
the Christians don't believe in the First Amendment,
Well,
apparently.
you know, we
I
don't get into throwing stones or nails or crosses, but you know, the truth is, we ended up over here based on the First Amendment. So here's the thing: I want to move forward. I hope everybody is clear as to my position on this deal. If you've got something you want to chime in and talk about, give us a call. We want to keep talking about what's going on with this broadband situation and the city council because I think we've got some conundrums here. We have some issues here that need to be looked at. But you can give us a call if you want to chime in. I really appreciate the stand that the people took on Monday night. I appreciate the fact that the police. Now, here's what's crazy: with all the money that the city's got at their beck and call right now,
Right now they do.
why are we not paying our policemen and policemen more? And why are we not in pursuit of setting up a full-time fire
A
department?
professional fire department. You
I mean,
need one.
Here's the deal. I
A
mean,
city this size needs one.
what are we doing? You know, I mean, we're going to go into the broadband business, which we'll get into more of that, but we're not now that it's been postponed indefinitely.
Exactly.
So I say that we're not now. I mean, it still could come back up, so you got to be on your P's and Q's. But the truth is, you know, I'm sitting here looking at this thing going, okay, well, how does this deal move forward?
And I'm wondering about that myself. What is going to happen here?
Yeah.
What down the road? How is this going to be brought up again?
Yeah.
Because you know it is.
Well, it may be put on the next
You know,
agenda.
it can be the way
Yeah.
the way Robert's rules are written. It
Yeah.
can be brought up for the next agenda.
Sure.
But you know, an indefinite just means indefinite
We're
for
not
right
dealing with
now.
it tonight.
Right now.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well-
and, you know, when is the next meeting? It's in April, is it not?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
So here are a few things that I look at whenever I'm looking at this thing. And here's you've got to take this into consideration. I dropped out of college. I barely passed high school. I have been on some level of construction or sales most of my career. I'm not the brightest bulb. I'm probably one of the louder bulbs. I'm probably that bulb in your chandelier that hums. I'm probably that one. So,
You hung a lot in class.
well, there you go.
That's another story entirely.
It is. So, but looking at this thing on the nose, I start asking questions. First thing I ask is this: what are the studies? What are the studies that the city reviewed that led them to this decision? What were the studies? Because here's the thing: you don't have to look far. You do not have to look far to find studies that basically outline that municipalities that go into the broadband business barely break even, if make it profitable at all.
Most of them lose money.
Exactly.
Most lose money.
They go in the broadband business.
So,
And they basically only do so because there is not another alternative.
right. And there's
And I did some
more
research on that. Yeah.
So
And how many alternatives do we have? At least 2 or 3 now.
at least 2 or 3.
And they're looking at maybe 2 or 3 more.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then Texas is doing a statewide broadband initiative
Exactly.
where they're, ironically enough, going around and listening to 13 different cities. They're listening to the people. They're listening to 13 or 14 different cities before they make a move on doing a broadband
Broadband.
initiative. Okay. Here's the second point. There are grants out there from municipalities. My question is, why are we not pursuing a grant instead of having to spend the SRMPA money? Here,
And didn't Sabine County get one of these grants? My
That-
understanding
that's-
that they did, and it was approximately the same amount. Approximately the same amount
that's
that
the rumor.
the city of Jasper is going to spend.
That's the rumor.
And I'm sitting there going, why was not a grant applied for?
a grant normally has some legal ties
It
to
has
it.
some ties to it, and generally it goes directly back either to the state of Texas or I think in the Sabine County's case, it's federal money.
Yeah.
I think it is.
So the deal is this: there are stipulations that are involved
Oh,
and tied to
definitely
that
is.
money.
It definitely is.
So
And accountability.
there's accountability there. So maybe that's the reason that we didn't pursue grants. If you're out there and you're listening, you want to chime in, give us a call, 384-2626, 384-2626. Help us kind of work through the riddles here. The third point is this: the public is being forced to ask questions online of your city council. Why is that?
Why not in public?
Why not in public? Well, here's the thing. I can tell
And
you.
are they getting decent answers
I
online?
have no idea.
Okay.
I have no idea. We're getting vague responses at best.
Okay.
Whenever we ask questions at the quote unquote Q&A meeting, we're getting vague answers at best.
Right.
So I'm sitting here going, okay, all right, what's the next thing? Who will be the service provider? Who's the service provider?
Yeah, exactly.
We're all talking about construction deal, but who's going to be the provider? Because we don't know who that is. Go ahead, caller.
Well, at Saturday's meeting, I was being sold on we cannot Zoom meetings, we cannot Skype, and we cannot, what was the third thing? There was something else. But anyway, we can't teledoc. Well, I think something that needs to be talked about is the speeds we have in Jasper.
Okay.
We're with Sparklight, and we actually have 21 upload and 221 download, which is extremely fast for whatever we need.
Right.
And that's with Sparklight. That's in Homewood and also on 190.
Okay. Are you able to Zoom and Skype and all that other?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Just checking.
Zooming for a year and a half all through COVID.
Right.
Okay.
One of the posters I saw down there said that the school district had to print off everything that they had. Well, that's a little misleading in my opinion because every school district in Texas had to wait on tablets and Wi-Fi's and everything.
That's very true. You're telling the truth there. Yeah, that's very true.
One of the other things they had on one of those little cardboard apparatuses was their target point was like 5,300 people, which I thought was extremely high for Jasper.
Considering there's only 6,600 currently.
Right.
Yes. Well, I truly don't think we've lost people in Jasper like it's being reported because from what I'm told, the census went online during COVID. A lot of people didn't know that.
That's very true.
You used to get a census report in the mail or somebody knocked on your door. But during COVID, that wasn't allowed.
Yeah,
So
yeah, they didn't knock on
online
people's
like
doors. You're right.
Then of course it went down.
Yeah.
That government can show that. But we've got too many people moving into Jasper, California, and wherever else for this place to be going downhill.
That's true.
It's strictly my opinion, but the last thing is it can be 1,000 times faster out on the street, but it can only be as fast as the computer system you have.
True.
So if I've got an $800 hard drive, then I can't even obtain the speeds that they're offering.
Sure.
Right.
Which is 99% of the customer base they're after.
Exactly.
Anyway.
Did you ever hear? Has anybody ever told you who the service provider would be?
No.
See, because here's what's crazy. When you start looking through the contract, which we're going to end up posting on Not on the Payroll tonight, we've got a copy of the contract, and we're going to post that for everybody to see. But this just looks like an infrastructure contract. So whenever they're communicating to us about this broadband, I'm sitting here going, who's the service provider? So I don't know, man. I appreciate you calling.
Okay.
Have a good night. Ladies and gentlemen, if you want to call in and chime in, give us a call, 384-2626.
So let me get this right. They told him they would not be able to Zoom? Is that what he
I'm
said?
saying that's one of the benefits.
Oh, well, Well, everybody else is zooming
Here's the deal,
already.
man. I Zoom on my phone
Yeah,
through
but
Verizon.
yeah. Well, I
So
can
I
do
mean,
that.
you
I
know,
thought he said they weren't going to be able to zoom, and I'm sitting
no,
there
no,
going, then it's worthless.
no.
Okay,
What
okay.
he's saying is, if your computer is not geared to where it can handle
Run
the
is quick.
speed.
Run is quick. Yeah.
Yeah. So I
Yeah.
mean, that's a valid point.
Yeah.
I would say this, a couple of the other little points that I had down here was that, everybody's got to remember Kramer is a water well company first, who's basically turned into an infrastructure company. A water well company who turned into an infrastructure company. Okay? Go and look them up online. That's all you've got to do. Matter of fact, I was having a conversation with an individual this week who's a proponent of this broadband, and they did not know that they were a water well company running around like an infrastructure company. And here's the other thing. How many other cities has see what's happening here, ladies and gentlemen, is you're getting I'm running a clinic right now. Okay. I'm running a clinic. All right. And that clinic this is how a business owner thinks about business decisions.
Very true. Very true.
Here's the thing. If you're going to hire somebody to be your babysitter, do you want any references?
Well, normally you do. Normally you want all kinds of references.
All I can say is this,
How many references do they have for Kramer?
how many references and what we know right now
Have
is
they
this.
done any infrastructure before?
Great question. Nobody knows because nobody's willing to answer the questions directly.
Okay.
Okay. Beyond that, after everything went down on Monday night, okay,
Right.
I got up there, Reverend Norsworthy got up there, gave them a good
Chewing out.
chewing,
Good tune out. Yeah.
high five on that.
Yeah.
And then Miss Foster got up there, she spoke her piece. Okay. After everything was over, they decided to postpone this thing indefinitely. I have two sources that tell me that one of the council members went to them and said, we were not really concerned. People don't understand what's going on here.
By the way, these are impeachable sources. Impeachable sources.
So we're not sure every
Unimpeachable sources.
unimpeachable
I'll get it right
sources.
here in a
Yeah.
minute. Unimpeachable sources. I'll get it right here in a minute.
We're not sure that everybody understands what the deal is. We weren't really concerned about anybody whoever signed up. We really wasn't worried about if anybody signed up. We were thinking about we were going to sell it. Now, here's the thing.
So what you're telling me?
Wait a second. This is the dilemma. This takes us down a rabbit trail here.
Okay.
Takes us down a rabbit trail, which I'm gonna have to turn my page for this sermon, this clinic that's being run right now.
I see this.
So here's the truth. We've got some issues. Number one, everybody needs to read the Robert's Rules of Order.
That's what I've been saying all
Read
along.
Read it. You also,
like I said, I almost bought a copy and sent it to the
you also need to
Amazoned
read
it to City Council.
the Open Meetings Act.
True.
You need to read it. Because here's the deal. When you meet and you're outside of city council and you're a city council member, you can't meet and have a quorum. You can't do that. Basically meaning this, what is a quorum? You have to have legally a certain amount of people at the meeting in order for the meeting to be legally right.
And in Jasper, it's three. Three
Okay.
council members.
3 council members.
Exactly.
Well, what's been happening is on more than one occasion, Randy Sayers, David Schultz, Michael Daniels have been seen at these different gathering places together. Okay. Now, the other thing is this, from what I'm understanding, correct me if I'm wrong, from what I'm understanding, if you come to a consensus outside of council, you have a problem. It's illegal. And what we are seeing is there's 2 consensuses that have been brought about or walked through. Now, people want to split hairs over this, but I'm sure we could go back and pull up the articles and pull up the different things that happened. But back when the jailhouse, when they decided to shut down the city's jailhouse and move all of the people over to the sheriff's office over here.
All right. To the jail. And
From what I
yeah.
understand, those decisions were being made behind closed door, and then we're gonna vote on it. Okay.
And wasn't
Later
the,
on, once
wasn't
we
the
get to City
sheriff
Hall.
a witness to this? That's
I
my
don't know who-
understanding. My understanding he was. I may be wrong here.
Hey, listen, it's a great question.
Okay.
It's a great question. The other side of this deal is, if their plan was to sell it, whose plan was it? Because that's never been mentioned once in council meeting. I don't know who needs to investigate this thing. I don't know if it's the Texas Rangers or the AG. I don't know who it
It
is.
would be the state AG, I think.
So to me,
It might be the feds because it's a out-of-state business.
it's an out-of-state company.
Well, yeah, Wisconsin to Texas.
I don't know how this works.
I wonder if it would become a U.S. attorneys.
I don't know how
I
this works.
wonder.
I would just say
But sure
this.
enough, the Texas Rangers need to look into it.
And if there's nothing there, nothing's there.
Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe the consensus thing is just something I made up in my head. But here's the deal. I do believe this. There are good people all the time who make bad decisions. Okay.
Right.
One of the things that concerns me as a person of business is normally, now I want you to think about this, and this is not to be disparaging about anyone on the council, but let's just put this in perspective. So we have a real estate agent.
Okay.
We have, and that's in Anderson Land.
All right.
We have a consultant, a business consultant, who is Michael Daniels,
Okay.
who said he told me that, he lost a lot of business last year and whatnot. I'm not sure, probably with COVID and a bunch of stuff.
Sure it is.
All right. Mr. Sayers is a tax man. I think he's a CPA.
Okay.
Mr. Schultz owns a funeral home down here. And I'm not sure what Miss Golden does.
Okay.
But here's my point. Managing $36 million should be a conversation we are all having. Simply for the fact, now here's the deal. People can be nice and mismanage things. Okay?
All right.
They can be
Exactly.
good people and smile and put money in the plate on Sunday morning and still mismanage things. All right? So my contention is this. Should we, as the people of this community, stand up and say, if this money is to be spent, we want all of the money that's involved in the SRMPA to be voted on by the people. Okay? Because here's the deal, some people have a contention. Hey, let's give all the money back to the people. Let's give all this money back to the people. Here's the deal. You've got $36 million that we can do some good to enhance the lives of not only the citizens, but also your protectors, your fire department, your police department, all
The
these
roads and bridges.
roads and bridges as well. So my thinking is, and like I said, I'm not trying to disparage anyone on the city council, but to me, I don't know if there's anyone on that city council who has ever been in a role to manage $36 million without accountability. Now, I don't see Warren Buffett up there. I don't see Donald Trump. And matter of fact, let's take it a step further. Donald Trump more likely than Warren Buffett. Warren Buffett still has to answer to Berkshire Hathaway.
He has to answer to the board.
He has to answer to that board.
Right.
So to me, for the city council to act like this is okay, to get chapped, to get torched off, to get passive aggressive or aggressive about people trying to hold them accountable is completely absurd and tells you everything you need to know about their business acumen. That they believe they live in a world where they are the head dingaling. Okay? They are the head honcho out here who's running their businesses. I get that.
Right.
Okay? Go run your business.
Right.
I'll be honest with you. Randy Sayers needs to be recalled. We should not have an elected official who not only curses out a female, curses out anyone for that matter, but curses out a female and then laughs at her in response.
Yeah, that was just disrespect.
It's
I don't care what anybody
it's
thinks,
blatant
just
disrespect, and he's
Makes you
gone.
wonder what he thinks about the rest of the community.
Here's the deal.
You know,
You can see what's going on here.
And I'm going to bring up something here, and it may turn some people off. The people who met in these alleged meetings,
Alleged.
alleged, we're going to say alleged. What were their color?
Yeah. Well, here we go.
And I don't want to go there, but I've
Sure.
gone there.
Sure.
And I'm not a BLM person.
Right.
Lord knows I'm not.
Right.
But I'm sitting there going, it
Which,
makes
which,
you.
and you saying BLM, you're basically saying you're not a race baiting
I'm not.
type.
No, not at all.
I think,
Lord, anybody knows me knows I'm not.
well,
So
so
I'm sitting there going,
What's the
that
difference?
doesn't look good.
no, it doesn't look
It
good.
doesn't look good. And when you say people holler and scream and jump up and down about racism,
Yeah.
and you saying, oh, they got nothing to what they're talking about here.
Right.
They're talking about nothing. Well, look at this.
And that's yeah. We're two white guys.
And we're two
bringing this
white
up.
guys bringing this up.
I mean, I don't think you can get as white or Irish as me and you are.
Definitely.
I'm full blood Irish on both sides of the family.
Well, I'm Irish and got some Frenchmen in there.
Some Frenchmen. I knew there was something about you.
Yeah.
That's where you get your style from.
Rice and gravy.
Exactly. So here's the challenge I throw out there to you, considering there's a lot of you out there who just want to be quiet. That's fine. Not a problem. We've got plenty to talk about. David Schultz is up for election. He is running for re-election, and it looks like Mr. Stephen Adams is running against him. I'm going to do what I can to get Mr. Stephen Adams on the radio and interview
Do
him.
you know anything about Mr. Adams?
I don't. I do know this. I heard some of the questions he had at the question and answer session that was put on by Mr. Land
Is
and
he a
Holmes.
businessman in here in
I think
town?
he is a
Okay.
businessman. And he asked some very clear and articulate questions. And I thought, who's that cat? Well, now I know. So I'm going to put this invitation out to Mr. Stephen Adams. If you know Stephen Adams out there and you'd like to see him interviewed, hey, it's free. It's no cost to you. I mean,
Right.
I've said this before. Preachers and politicians have a hard time passing up an open mic, right? So the thing is, hopefully, he sounded like he had a heart for the community.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
And now here's the other side of it, Mr. Schultz. If you're out there and you're listening, we can shake hands and we can move forward. And I'd love to sit down and interview you, and it don't have to do nothing with broadband.
Yeah.
Unless you want to talk about broadband. So that's available to you at no cost. Ms. Laura Golden, same offer stands for you. You guys know how to get in touch with me. You can go over to Not on the Payroll and you can find all my stuff right there. NotOnThePayroll.com, that is. You can also, Mr. Rashad Lewis. Mr. Rashad Lewis, we've actually got on the docket. We're going to be doing an interview with Mr. Rashad Lewis here. We've got some cool things coming up. We're going to kind of segue toward the end of this deal, but we got cool things coming up. If you're over in Newton County, check this out. You have a judge race that's going on right now, okay? It's a runoff, okay? And looks like this week we will be putting pen to paper for a live debate on Not on the Payroll between Kenneth Weeks and Mr. Cochran. So
This should be interesting.
that ought to be fun.
Are we going to be moderators for
We-
this
we will-
organization?
we
This
will.
organizational
Yeah.
meeting, as they would say?
Exactly. We want to table this.
Table
We'll
this?
table this and come
Yes.
back to it.
Yeah.
So what we're going to do is we're going to actually have on May 3rd, we're going to have a live debate, our first debate. Man.
Very good.
Me and you'll be moderators, and we're not allowing the public to show up to the location. We are, however, inviting government teachers and we are inviting students. So to get them
Are we
involved
talking about government students in Newton or
in Newton County.
Okay.
Yeah, it'll be Newton County because
Very good.
you've
Very
got
good.
you've got
Deweyville,
you've got
Newton, and Burkeville.
Burkeville.
Yeah.
So I think that's going to be pretty fun. May 3rd, you can be looking for that. We're also going to be asking the people of Newton if you've got any questions that you would like to have us pose to each one of the candidates. We would love to ask those questions.
Certainly would.
Please do not use foul language because we are against that in a debate.
In a debate
So
war, yeah.
we're going to all be sweet and nice. So there's that. Hey, if you are just tuning in, you have missed a show. It's been a heck of a week. It is not on the payroll. You can check us out each and every week on Thursdays right here at KJAS 107.3 FM. You can check us out online. You can check us out at notonthepayroll.com. You can check us out at Facebook and also on YouTube. If you have not subscribed to us on YouTube, please go subscribe. Go subscribe and check it out. We've got some cool things happening. I've got a few other things that I cannot mention yet. But one of the things I want to leave you with is this. In life, we have to learn lessons. Okay? We've got to learn lessons. One of the biggest lessons I ever learned was taught to me as a result of the way I reacted to a situation. I was told, or actually I learned, that when you react to a situation, a lot of times you move instinctually. You will immediately, something happens and you react. It's instinctual to react, to cover the spot, cover the wound, cover the hit, cover the punch, whatever the case is, but you react. Okay? I have had to learn now in 45 years that the best way to handle confrontation, the best way to handle things in life is to learn how to respond. Meaning, you take the time and the effort to use your logic and your reason to respond with an articulate and steady hand to communicate where you're at and what you're doing. So here's the thing. Let's focus on responding instead of reaction. We've got a lot of people reacting in this community. This is going to be our last caller for the night. Go ahead, caller.
Good evening, Jay.
Yes, sir.
I know I'm calling kind of late. I was working late at night. I have a good job. I heard something that's kind of disturbing. I know you only got a couple of minutes, but I'm disturbed because first time I heard you mentioned something about it. One of the council members said something to you about, well, you were told that one of the other council members said something that their intention was not to, for the city to go into the broadband business, but to do all the feasibility study and get everything done and then sell it. This is a councilman Lane. I want people to hear from who I am.
Okay.
As a council member, I never heard that. That was never shared with me, with anybody else on council.
Wow. Wow.
First time I'm here. Thank you. Just like the first time I heard about the city jail, I woke up one morning and heard the city was going out of the city jail business going to the county. I woke up, logged on KJS. I saw that on KJS. I called up KJS. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Right.
See, that's one of the issues that our council members are having. Transparency.
Sure.
Like you're saying, backroom meetings, deals, or whatever's going on. That's something that should have been done by the whole council. That's something that's probably going to be looked into. I'm not going to say anything else on it, but you're having meetings, you're making decisions already. Yeah, you don't have a quorum, but you're having a meeting with the mayor, other council members, and you're making decisions that should be made by the entire council.
Right.
Decisions and then bringing the council, and you've already got the answers and what you want to do. That's
Sure.
not the way this works.
That's true. That's true. We appreciate you calling in and letting us know. Yeah.
Parliamentary procedures,
Exactly.
open meeting time.
It's just that easy.
Exactly.
City charter. I don't know. I don't know about the rest of the council. I can't speak for them. I do read.
Yeah. Councilman, we appreciate you
Appreciate
calling.
you calling, man.
Okay.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, there you heard it. There you heard it. It's very, very interesting. All I can tell you is this: practice responding this week. Check yourself when you start reacting, because sometimes when you react, you don't head down the right track.
True.
You know what I mean?
True.
Ladies and gentlemen, you've been listening to Not on the Payroll. Love you.
Happy St. Patrick's Day.
Easy enough. Ladies and gentlemen, appreciate you for listening. Appreciate you for tuning in. Please go subscribe.
Yes, subscribe on
Go
YouTube.
subscribe. We're trying to get to 1,000. Trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. So help us out there. That's going to help us do a lot of things. We will be streaming the Newton debate. We will be doing that live. We're going to have a couple of cameras. We're going to have a switcher. We're going to have a bunch of different cool stuff. But we're trying to get to 1,000 before May 3rd. Before May 3rd. Ladies and gentlemen, we appreciate you for tuning in. Have a great night.